Welcome to Fly Numian Money, where we help you master mindset and maximize your money. I'm Athena, and today we are discussing all things Diddy. Okay, so he finally confesses to beating his ex girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. But now what? So we are going to unpack it all from a financial, legal, and psychological perspective. But before we get into these discussions, let me introduce you to our dynamic co queens for today. We have Lala, our realty goddess, in the house. Dr. Elisha, our therapist. We have Erica Lewis, our author, Faith in Transition, and Lindsay Bertner, Live a First Class Life. And we're going to discuss everything, the hot topic today, which is Diddy. So as you know, everyone's been blowing up about this Diddy case. I remember when we did the panel on Drake, and I was like, Diddy was probably so happy because nobody was talking about him. And then Drake is probably happy because nobody's talking about him. We're back to Diddy. So before I get into anything too deep, I want to talk to you first, Dr. Alicia, because this is a domestic violence situation. And, to our audience, if you or anyone you know that are in a domestic violence situation, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You are not alone and support is available. But Dr. Alicia, you say you actually teach a class on domestic violence. So you're going to be the expert on this topic today. When Cassie came out with some of the allegations, people weren't necessarily supportive of her. Is that common in DV cases?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty common. And the fact that even when the video came out, it was in 2016. It was just like this happened 3 years before they broke up. So they broke up in 2019 and the video came out in 2016. And you can imagine since that video, there have been other instances of abuse. This probably happened after that, but that speaks to the cycle of abuse and how difficult it is to leave an abusive situation. And I know we're probably going to show the video later on, but it just, I mean, there's phases in all relationships that people go through where there's just a beautiful phase where everything seems calm. Then there's this tension and this buildup. And then there's this moment where things just tend to just explode. And that's when the abuse happens. And then, of course, it's followed by this honeymoon stage. So it's not like he or abusers just beat up their victims every single day. There's a cycle of abuse and it psychologically sucks people in. So it makes sense from a psychological perspective that it takes some time for someone to leave that situation. And that's what we see here with Cassie.
Okay, so for those of you who are just joining us or haven't been familiar with the hot topic, Diddy finally confessed because there was a video that came out that was acquired by CNN. Some people said they thought that maybe someone leaked it or maybe CNN paid to get it, powers that be. But before we show you this video, it shows some very sensitive, triggering actions. So if, we just want to give you that heads up before we actually show you this video. Are we showing the video? Yes. There we go.
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs wearing only a towel, assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video.
Wow, that was very hard to watch. And before we get into full details about this video, Lala, I want to ask you a question since you're a realty goddess. This happened on IHG's property, and there's been a lot of outrage around their accountability around having this footage or this happening on their property. Is IHG Group, are they liable for not reporting this during
I
the
believe so. I believe so. They had a responsibility to report this. I actually have been to that hotel. It is no longer in business. They have gone out of business. This is located in Century City of Los Angeles. But if you ask me, it was their responsibility to report any type of crime that goes on in their hotel and on their properties. They failed to do that. So if you ask me, they are totally liable for what they have done. Now, the question is, the statute of limitations for Diddy in California is over. And I find that very sickening to my heart. The statute of limitations should never be over for something like this. But is that the case with the owners of the hotel at that time now, since they're no longer in the business? And also the fact that they took bribe money. They took,
yes, I heard they took 50,000.
50,000, really, for someone who was beaten almost to death. I mean, I get sick to my stomach when I see that. I have limited myself to watching that video. So are they liable? If you ask my personal opinion, yes, they are, all the way. And anyone who knew about this should be liable as well. But with the statute of limitations, maybe not so with the California law.
Erica, let's talk to you about everything. Do you think, because also on the internet, everyone's saying, well, as we discussed previously, domestic violence victims always don't get support. Do you think that people who are jumping on the bandwagon now that they have actually watched the video, because rappers like Slim Thug and Erykah Badu and other celebrities initially were not really rallying for Kathy in this situation? Do you think it's a case of being a little too late?
I think this is an instance where the older women, it's a scripture, the older women teach the younger women.